but we are back with Lemnis. So if you have not played this, it is free with Game Pass on Xbox. I believe it's... I don't know how much money it is if it's not, but definitely check it out. It's a first-person shooter that is on a time loop. So every 25 seconds, the same thing is repeated that you already did. I know it sounds confusing, but go check it out for sure. If you need a new first-person shooter, this is definitely the game that you have been looking for. So there's not very many units, at least right now, which is fine. They're all overall very balanced. I don't think anybody is necessarily A tier or D tier. I think it depends on the map, the game mode, and your teammates and everything. But overall, everybody is very useful in their own way. They all have their own weapons and abilities. So we will just start with Capitan. So she has a LMG or an assault rifle, whatever you'd like to call it, and grenades. Nothing too fancy. I think she's useful as far as damage, but I don't think she's anything super crazy. I think she's definitely A tier. The amount of damage she can put out is worth it. But you do have to be careful when throwing grenades. One, to not damage yourself or future use, or past use either. But she can definitely lob some grenades, get some cheeky kills, get some cheeky damage on objectives as well. Toxin, I think I have to put down in the C tier. I think the biggest reason why is he's definitely not a killer. He's an objective holder. So what he does is he shoots Toxin, gets all over the place. If you run in it, you take damage. Obviously, if he hits you with it, you're taking more damage, but he's not really meant to hit you with it. He's supposed to shut down an area, which he does do well. But I think due to being able to move quickly with, I forget this guy's name, I honestly forget half these guys' names, I'll think of it, as well as just being able to stay out of it possibly is not the best. Plus, obviously you can run into it as your teammates or yourself or whatever you'd like to call it, what have you. So I think the usefulness is there. There is big upside to him. But also the problem is with him shutting down an area, you can still 90% of the time shoot or damage the objective without getting close to anywhere that he is toxined. Carl, I'd probably have to give to the S tier. I didn't think I would, but I think the biggest thing with him is his bubble and the fact that he can do multiple and so quickly and so consistently to essentially save, any version of you or teammate throughout the whole game is huge, as well as his gun honestly has zero recoil, can reach super far, and does pretty solid amount of damage for being able to do both of those other two things that are listed. So I definitely think he's probably the hardest to learn. There's definitely a skill gap in trying to bubble people. But if you can at least relatively get good at that, I think he has the biggest upside and very little downside, honestly, because even if you mess up the bubble, you can still place them quickly enough to where it might still be able to save some version of you or your teammates. Striker, I'll give to B. So this is the only sniper in the game. So he stops time. Well, it's not stops. He slows down time for a few seconds so he can essentially just line up his shot, get a quick, easy headshot. He can anybody in the game one-shot headshot, as including himself. The problem with him is that if you do not hit your shots or you have a variation of his gun, so everybody has different variations of guns you can adjust. You can make Striker's natural sniper is, I believe, 2 or 3 bullets, but you can adjust it to make it essentially 1 with like super increased zoom, so you're pretty much guaranteed the headshot, but you only get the 1 bullet. So if you miss or you have multiple targets, then there's a downside to using that variation. Same with Toxin, you can make his thing shoot, you know, way faster, so you're spreading the toxin a lot quicker, or bigger splashes, etc. Everybody's got some sort of variations that you can unlock and choose to play with. But I think the biggest downside to him is that, you know, like many sniper heroes in a lot of games, is if you're not shooting your shots or hitting them, then it's a huge waste. But he obviously has a huge upside to be able to one-tap headshot anybody in the game, and he does do a lot of damage. He does 70 flat, so even if you know, miss but still hit them, if that makes sense, miss the head but still hit them, or they're already low, he's easy to get some picks, so it is useful to do. Vendetta, I think I have to put Vendetta in S2. I cannot play her, and I hate playing against her. I would argue, is probably the best in the game, best operator in the game, only because she has auto turrets. You can even place them in the air, so they can essentially see and move around anywhere. Not anywhere, but pretty good distance. Or you just place them on the ground, and it's basically, you know, Torbjorn type turret or auto sentry in front of you in a cone. She does have her biggest downside though, and why I almost put her in A, is because her gun is a shotgun, so you have to be close to be obviously getting kills or doing high amount of damage. The good thing about this game though is that you get points for any damage output that you do. So you get points for objectives, you get points for kills, and then you get points for damage. So I think it's like essentially 1 point every 10 damage type of deal. So, you know, if you're hitting somebody from a distance, or you're running out of time and not much to do, but you see somebody but you're too far away to actually get the kill, go ahead, shoot at them. You're going to get points for it. It's straight up, nothing wrong with that. I think that's just her biggest weakness, is distance. But, you know, she makes up for it for turrets for sure. Flash, I believe, is this guy's name. Rush, I'm sorry, it's Rush. I knew it was something weird like that. I think I'll give Rush an A. So essentially he is a Tracer Blink from Overwatch, if that makes sense, or he does like a super fast speed boost in front of him, so he essentially gains a whole shit ton of yardage. And he has dual wield fully automatic pistols, or machine pistols, whatever you'd like to call them. Does pretty good damage, definitely good for moving around. I think the biggest problem is sometimes you move too much and get yourself killed, or cause something bad to happen for your team, as well as he does have, I believe, the least amount of health. I do think that there are health variations in the game, and I believe he has the least amount, if I'm not mistaken. But he is fun to play. He's definitely fun, definitely better on certain objective game modes than others. You know, if you're picking up the Erythium, or whatever it's called, he's obviously arguably the best to do it. But if it's the damage game mode, then he's still decent, but he's more of a picker at that point than he is an objective killer. And I unfortunately forget this guy's name. Deathblow. Deathblow is difficult because I think I have to put him in B. Almost to A, but I think the biggest reason in B is because if anybody in the game, aside from maybe Toxin, he is going to kill team kill more than anybody else. Obviously not purposefully, but he is definitely the problem child with getting your team or yourself killed. I think he's one of the best objective damaging units for sure, and his mines can definitely help you solidify a route or protect you or protect you in the future. But again, also those can be used against you and get you killed as well. So I think the biggest thing for him is that why he's in B is that there is massive potential upside, but also some pretty heavy downside as well. So I can't really. I would put him in B plus area, but still, I don't think I can put him in A. So again, if you guys have not played this game, Lemnis Gate, check it out. It's very fun, and you can play with friends as well on your team or against him as well. So check it out if you need a new FPS to try out. It's definitely crazy, but let me know what you guys think for the tier list, where you guys would place them. Let me know. Alright, we are getting shit done. Let's see.